in the middle of Amid Aleph at the Mishnah on 31a. We have over the next couple of days some beautiful Agadah, some beautiful homilies about the mitzvah of bris and also about other mitzvahs. So this is some beautiful, accessible pages. So the Mishnah tells us on Amid Aleph in the middle, Koneim she'eni nanel of Bnei Noach. If a person says he takes a vow that he's not going to get any benefit from a Noahide, from a Ben Noach, from one who's a descendant of Noach, mutter be Yisrael, then that person is allowed to get benefit from a Jew. But they're not allowed to get benefit from an idolater. So the Gemara asked the question, a Jew is also a descendant of Ben Noach. We're also children of Noach. Why do we say if you make a vow that you're the descendant of against the vow of children of Noach, can you have benefit from a Jew? The Jews no longer in the descendants of Bnei Noach. Gemara explains, Kivan de Ikdash Avram Iskru al Shmei. Yeah, even though you're descendants of Noach, once Abraham became consecrated, then we were called after his name. We were called the children of Abraham at that point. So if a person says, She'eni nanel zera Avram, a person says, I'm not allowed to benefit from the seed of Abraham, Asher b'Yisrael, he's not allowed to benefit from a Yid, mutter ba'ovdei kachavim, but he's allowed to benefit from an idolater. Gemara says, Vayiko Yisrael. What about the Yishmaelim? The Yishmaelim were also descendants of Abraham. So he should be prohibited, he should be allowed to be prohibited to benefit from a Yishmaelite. So why are the Ishmaelites excluded? They're also the descendants of Abraham. So the Gemara says, Kibi Yitzchaki Karel Chazera, because it says in the parasha of Vayera, it says, through Yitzchak your seed will be called, which means, so therefore, only Yitzchak is considered to be the seed of Abraham. Gemara says, Vayika Esav. But doesn't it say, but Esav is also a descendant. So also anybody who's for a descendant of Esav should be excluded from benefit. Gemara says, be Yitzchak for will call Yitzchak. Through Yitzchak, but not all of Yitzchak. Meaning to say, it's only including those who are the descendants of Yitzchak through Yaakov, but not through Esav. That's this week's parasha. Yitzchak tried to give the bracha to Esav, but we said no, it's only to Yaakov because only he gets the bracha. So although Esav got a bracha, he got a second bracha, but he didn't get the covenantal bracha. The fourth mission on this Amud says, She'eni nanami Yisrael. He says, I'm not going to benefit from a Jew. Okeach biyoser umocher b'pachos. Let's say a person says, I'm not allowed to have any benefit from a Jew. Then he's allowed to purchase something for more than the asking price. So today, this stuff is being studied on Black Friday. So you're purchasing it for more than the price. Let's say the asking price is $20. You're allowed to purchase it for $21. So the point is, who's the one who's getting the benefit when you purchase something? It's not that you're not allowed to give that other person benefit, because that person is selling something. It's that you can't get benefit. And so therefore, you're buying something for more than the price. It means you're not getting benefit. So too, you could sell to that person for less than the amount, because you're not benefiting from him. You're giving it to him for less than the price. But if you say, Shei Yisrael Nanili, then if you say that a Jew cannot benefit from me, then the Jew can buy it from you for less than the asking price, and you could sell it to him for more, because again, he's not benefiting from you. But nobody's going to do that. Meaning, say this ain't shomen. Who's going to do that? Who's going to be so stupid as to buy it for more or sell it for less? So Gemara says, She'eni nanel lahen v'hein li yanel ovdei kochavim. Let's say he says, I'm not going to benefit from them and they're not going to benefit from me. Then you can do the benefit for idolaters under those circumstances. Meaning to say, we don't have to be concerned that person was Jewish, that all the people in the area are Jewish. You could still benefit from an idolater. Amar Shmuel, so Shmuel taught the following halacha. And let's say somebody purchases a utensil from a craftsman, Levakro. He's not sure if there's an asking price for it, but he's not sure that he wants to take it home and look at it before he fully pays the price for it. So he's taking home to look at it. Bananas biado, and then it accidentally got ruined. We're saying under these circumstances, chayav. We're going to say under these circumstances that he's liable for his for the damages because he's like a borrower at that point, and a borrower you're liable for even for an ones. Alma kasavar, we see from here that what we're talking about here is the benefit of the person who takes it. He's the one who's benefiting because he hasn't paid for it yet, and he's getting benefit just by taking it. But this contradicts our Mishnah because our Mishnah says she'eni nana mi Yisrael. So a person says, I'm not allowed to benefit from a Jew. Mocher bepachos. You could sell it to him for less than the price because he's not benefiting. Aval shava b'shava lo. But you're not allowed to sell it to him for the right price, for the exact price. Because if you're selling it for the exact price, it's like he is. Because if you're selling it to if you buy it from him for the exact price, then it's like you're benefiting from him. But if you want to say, like we just said in the teaching of Shmuel, that just taking it for the right price is considered the benefit of the person taking it, then I feel it's shava b'shava. And even for the right price, even for the exact price, it should be considered a benefit. So the Gemara explains, Mas Nisan, our Mishnah is talking about a case of Zabina, talking about an object, derami al ape, that's on the face, meaning to say it's very hard to sell it. Nobody wants it. So even if you sell it for the exact price, we're going to say that that's going to be considered the benefit of the one who's selling it. That the one who's selling it is benefiting because nobody really wants to pay anything for that. I mean, even though it has a going price, nobody wants it. You can't move it. Like that's what it is. You can't move something. So the Gemara says, if that's the case, in Kainei Maresha, what about the first clause? That purchaser can then the first clause it says where you say, I'm not allowed to benefit from a Jew, you're allowed to buy it from him for more than the asking price. If that's the case, va'od, and so we see from there you're buying it for more than the asking price. And so therefore, if va'od ema seifa she Yisrael nanily, and also in the concluding clause where it says that you say that no Jew can benefit from me, he purchases it for less and he sells it for more. And if we're talking about something that's hard to sell, I feel shava b'shava. You should even be able, even something that is the exact price. That's the exact price. I feel even there's something that's the exact price. We would say under those circumstances, he should be able to sell it because the Jew who's purchasing it is not benefiting from him if it's a Zabina derami al nafshay. So Gemara says, no, the last clause is Seifa b'Zabina Harifa. They were talking about an object that is desirable, that is very good, that's easy to sell. If that's the case, and why could he purchase it for less than the money? Afilu shava b'shava. Then he should be able to purchase it even for the exact amount because only the purchaser is benefiting it, and so therefore, even if he purchases it for if he purchases it just for the exact price, he's not benefiting them at all. So the Gemara says, "Ela masnisen bezabina mitzia." We're talking about something that's a zabina mitzah, meaning to say that there's sometimes some people want it, but they're not a lot. And such a price could be sold, and such an object could be sold when it's sold for its going price. Both the seller and the purchaser benefit. It's a normal object. And Shmuel said his law that the person who purchases something is obligated to pay for it, even where he didn't pay the whole amount, where he's just taking him to look at it. That's talking about a Zabina Harifa. Shmuel's talking about a very desirable object. The Tanya we learned Tanya Kabasi de Shmuel. We have a brisa that supports Shmuel. Haokeach kelim min hatagar. Somebody who takes utensils, somebody purchases utensils from the merchant. He's buying this, let's say he's buying cigars from the merchant. He wants to send them to his father-in-law, and he says, and he says, the son-in-law says to the merchant, if you're going to accept if my father-in-law will take these gifts from me, and he knows I'll give you the full value. But if he doesn't accept it from me, and he knows saying, I'm going to give you the tova sana. That's all I'm going to give you. What's the tova sana? That's the benefit, the good of the benefit. What do you mean the good of the benefit? Well, when you offer somebody a gift, even when he says no, you get some value in that you offered him the gift. He said no. So I'm going to offer how much that's worth. That my father-in-law now thinks I'm a great guy that I was buying him a bag of cigars. How much is that worth, basically? Okay, so it's worth something, but it's not a lot. So let's say it became, it got destroyed while he was going there, chayev. Then we're going to say he's liable, because since there he didn't purchase it, everything was him. He had the whole benefit there. And so therefore he's like a borrower. Alternatively, we could say that Rashi tells us that he's liable for own sin because he's considered like the purchaser himself. Different theories as to why he's liable for there in the walking. But on the return, when he's bringing it back, well, his father-in-law didn't want to accept it, pater. We're going to say he's exempt. Because there he's like a hired worker, because his job is to return it. He didn't purchase it, he's returning it. And so therefore, he's not going to be considered like a purchaser, who is a purchaser is like a borrower, but rather he's going to be considered like a shomer sachar, like a hired worker who's exempt from accidental causes. And so therefore, so we see from here that when he's walking that way, he's liable for own sin. This is a proof for Shmuel that if somebody purchases a utensil in order to inspect it, then he has all the benefit. He's like a borrower. Okay, so it says the Gemara, Ahu Safsira, that there was basically an animal dealer, an animal merchant, and this animal merchant, this person. So we say Ahu Safsira, that there was this animal merchant, and this animal merchant, the Shakal Chamra was a bune. He took a donkey to sell it. Below Isban. He wasn't successful in selling it. So he took it basically on consignment in order to sell it. But now he's returning it. But while he's returning it, Itnis Chamra, his donkey had an accident, maybe got hit by lightning. So Chive Rav Nachman was Shlume. Rav Nachman said the donkey driver has to pay, but he's returning it. So doesn't this contradict the brisa that we just said? How could Rav Nachman say against the brisa? Because it got ruined while he's returning it. So that's a problem. So the Gemara says, no. So Rav Nachman, so Rav challenged Rav Nachman, Nansu Bali Chachayev B'Chazara Potter. If it was damaged while you're going there, then you're chayev, but on the way back you're exempt. So why are you exempt here? Amar, so he responds, Chazara disabsida olachahi. He says, no, even this animal merchant, even when he's taking the donkey back, that's considered like he's taking it there. He's got a sign on the donkey for sale. He's got a for sale sign. So he's always selling. Because if he's going to find somebody to sell it, even on the entrance to his house, he's going to sell it. So therefore, it's considered like even when he's returning, it's considered like he's going there to sell it. So therefore, he's considered like a shoel, and so he's considered like a borrower, is chayav for own sin. Okay, now we're going to go into a couple of days now about talking about a bris. Says the person, Konim Shani Nenel Arelem. The person takes a vow, I'm not benefiting at all from anybody who is uncircumcised. Excuse me, I'm not benefiting at all from anybody who's uncircumcised. Mutter ba'arle Yisrael. He's allowed to benefit even from a Jew who's uncircumcised. because the Jew who's uncircumcised is not called an Arel. An Arel was a term for a non-Jew. So they were called the uncircumcised one. So even if the Jew was uncircumcised, you're still allowed to benefit from him, because we're not going after the technical term, we're going after the way people speak when it comes to a vow. And the way people speak when it comes to a vow is they call the Arelim the non-Jews. But if you say, but you're not, and so too, you're not allowed to get any benefit even from an idolater, even if they are circumcised. So if an idolater is circumcised, you can't get any benefit from him, even though he's not Arel. He's circumcised, still doesn't matter. So because the idolater is always called an Arel. Let's say you say Shani Nana, and let's say you say, I'm not going to benefit from anybody who's circumcised. Asur ba'arwa Yisrael. Then you're not allowed to benefit even from an uncircumcised Jew, because a Jew is always called a mahul. He's called circumcised even when he's uncircumcised. But you're allowed to benefit from the idolater even if he's circumcised. She'ena arla kuya el Hashem of the kavim, because arla is a term for idolaters. Maybe it's a derogatory term. Basically, you'll see it's a derogatory term that you called the people who are not Jewish. Shenemar kikol agoyim arelim. As says in Jeremiah, all the nations of the world are uncircumcised. V'chol beis Yisrael are leiv. And the Jews, they're circumcised, but they're uncircumcised of the heart, meaning they got the wrong attitude. The Omer, and it states, V'ayah pushti arel hazeh. This is what King David said about Goliath. He says he's going to fight. He says, I'm not worried about Goliath. This Philistine, he's an Arel. He's an uncircumcised one. The Omer pen tismachna benos pushtim. And also it states, lest the daughters of the Philistines rejoice, pen talozna benos arelim. Lest the daughters of the uncircumcised ones exult. So we see that the Arel is a derogatory term for the uncircumcised ones. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah Omer, Ma'usahiya Arla, the foreskin is so disgusting, Sheniskanu Barashayim, that we see as a result of it that the idolaters are criticized and it makes them disgusting. Ma'usahiya Arla, that wicked ones are called by the name of the uncircumcised one. So, as it states, Kikoa Goyim Arelim, all the nations are uncircumcised. Rabbi Shmuel says, Gedola Mila, circumcision is such a great mitzvah. Shenichrasu Allah Shloshes Rei Brisos. There were 13 covenants that were attributed to it. There 13 times in the passage in Genesis where Avram Avinu was commanded about the mitzvah of a bris milah. It says 13 times in chapter 17 the word bris, and that's why we say it was made with the 13 brisos. Rabbi Yossi Omer, Rabbi Yossi taught, Gedol Amila Shadochas HaShabbos. He said, sir. Rabbi Yossi, no, I'm following the text of the Mishnah. Rabbi Yossi Omer in the printed Mishnah. All right, Rabbi Shmuel Omer Gedol Amila, you're right. So he says, no, I said that right. He said circumcision is so great that it overrides the Shabbos. Because when the 8th day comes on Shabbos, you do the bris milah. Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha says, that even Moshe Rabbeinu, but here it's called Moshe Tzaddik. Unusually, Moshe Rabbeinu is called, usually it's called Moshe Rabbeinu. Here it's called Moshe Tzaddik. That he wasn't even given a grace period, even for a moment. We'll see in the Gemara what that's referring to. When he didn't circumcise his son. Rabbi Nechemiah says, circumcision is so great that it overrides tsaras. What does this mean? That you're not allowed to cut off tsaras. It's a biblical prohibition. Let's say that tsaras is on your arla. You're allowed to cut off the tsaras then to do the mitzvah of bris. Rabbi Omer, so great a circumcision that all the mitzvahs that Abraham did, he's not called complete until he actually did the circumcision. As it says, it's walk before me and be perfect. Alternatively, circumcision is so great. Not for the mitzvah of circumcision, God would not have created the world. As it states, Komar Hashem im lo barisi yomam v'layla chukol shemayim v'aretz lo samti. If I did not create day and night, the laws of heaven and earth I would not have placed. And so therefore, im lo barisi yomam v'layla. If we're not for the circumcision that is around both day and night, I would not have created the rest of the world. The Ran's gear, so he adds another line. Circumcision is so great because it is equal to all the other mitzvahs. As it says, so that's referring to the dama bris. So the milah is the equivalent of the covenant. So the Gemara discusses what happened with Moshe Rabbeinu, which the Mishnah called Moshe Tzaddik. Tanya Reb Shimon Kol Mergadol and Milah, which calls Chiyot Sha'asam Moshe Rabbeinu Lo Amdulo. Circumcision is so great that all the merits that Moses did weren't enough for him. Kishin Yisrasham and Amila, when he was weakened by not performing the mitzvah of circumcision, as says, Hashem, now when Moses was on the way back to Egypt, it says God met him and sought to kill him. So I'm a Rabbi Chas v'Shalom Shemoshe Rabbeinu Nisra Shem Namila. God forbid that Moses was faltering in the mitzvah of circumcision. This is what Moses said. How am I going to circumcise my son, my second son, and then leave? Sakanahi, it's dangerous. As it states, on the third day in the town of Shechem, they were in pain, and that's when Shimon and Levi killed the people. You want me to circumcise my son and then wait 3 days? God told me go back to Egypt. So I had to leave without circumcising. I had to do the mitzvah of going back to Egypt. God told me that. So why was Moshe Rabbeinu punished? We're on the top of 32a. Because Moses was dealing with the lodgings first. He was making his bed before dealing with the circumcision. As it says, that when Moshe was on the Malone, and that's when God came to strike him. So immediately, when Moshe came off the road, he started making his bed and setting up his Airbnb, and that was the problem. So Rav Shimon Gamliel says, "Lo Moshe Rabbeinu bikesh satan laharog." They said, no, the angel that tried to kill Moshe was not trying to kill Moshe. Ella also Tinok was trying to kill the baby. Was trying to kill Moshe's son, the second son, Eliezer. As it states, Ki chasan damim atali. So as it says in the verse that she when Tzipporah does the circumcision and she throws down the arla at the floor and she says, "You are a bloody bridegroom to me." Say Rei Mikare Chasan. Who's called a Chasan? I have Omer is that Tinok. The baby is called a Chasan because he's doing the bris. Because he was like a Chasan doing the mitzvah for the first time. Also, you could say a Chasan is associated with blood, as we saw from the first daf in Ksuvos. So, okay. So we'll stop here, God willing. We'll stop here and pick this up again. We'll do the daf today. We have some questions here, but we'll take the questions.